Alright, alright, what is up everybody? It is DGL here. And yeah, it is the 15th of January. So I wanted to do another 15 games, their 15 moves video. Originally I planned to make this kind of a monthly series where I do this, every month on the 15th. But it quickly became apparent that yeah, life is hectic and I can't always get to that. So, this is sort of a whenever I can type dealio. So yeah, I think it's good to do something other than bullet, because yeah, I've been uploading quite a bit of bullet tournaments, I think. And yeah. Alright, so unlike the last video, I'm going to do a couple things differently. I'm not going to say the players' names. I mean, you can see them to the side here, but quite often ICC can't fit the whole name. So if you're curious about players' names, ratings, PGNs, anything like that, there'll be links in the description to chessgames.com, where I got most of these games actually, and they all happen to be there. So if you want, and you want further information on any of the games, go check it out. I will try to mention the ratings of the people who lost, because I think it's interesting to note that. And yeah, let's get started. Alright, so game one. Let's kick it off. E4, C5, Knight F3. I'd like to mention that I'm not going to be going into deep theoretical battles, I just want to show the game and move on to the next one. Because if I, go into super deep detail about theory, going into a difficult ending, etc., we'll be sitting here for 5 hours. Alright, so let's just see how the player screwed up, and we could try to learn off of that. So it was a Sicilian. Alright, D6, Knight C3, G6, and D4. Alright, hitting the center. Queen takes D4, and E5. Very nice.
Check.
Alright, so white has managed to get the black king into the center of the board, no castling rights, etc. And after knight takes here, there's already a fork threat. Bishop e6, covering. Maybe not the best move. I mean, it's just very ugly already, but okay. Bishop g5, getting a piece out. Bishop g7.
Check.
And castle along with check. So, knight d7 block, which is a bit of a, it makes sense, but it still looks a bit strange attacking the knight with the bishop, but okay. So I just took, right, saving the knight. We have the trade, and bishop b5. Alright, putting pressure on this knight. And black decided to just grab this piece off, so we had the trade and rook c8, which at first glance makes a lot of sense, just putting pressure on the c-pawn. But white ignored it and played rook he1, getting the last piece into play. Look at these bishops, just completely, yeah, talk about pressure. Bishop pair, very strong. Alright, so, and black ended up blundering with rook e8, which allows the very nice tactical shot. Rook takes e6, and black resigned as he is losing a piece. Let's say black recaptured the rook, or yeah.
Checkmate.
Then rook takes e7 is checkmate. So, after rook takes e6, black resigned. Alright, let's move on to the next game. Game 2.
Check.
Alright, second game. Oh, and the black player's rating in that first game was 2130, according to my notes. Alright, next game. So we have e4, and we have the Roy Lopez this time. Alright. So just a normal Roy Lopez, b5, bishop b7, d4. Alright, so it's all fairly normal. Castle and e5. Maybe black, yeah, I don't know. Okay, knight e8, and bishop d5. And maybe this is still okay, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Queen d7. Alright, defending the knight. Keep in mind it was pinned. And rook e1. Okay, very nice move, getting on the open file. Bishop b7. But that allows e6. Alright. So obviously black can't take because of the bishop taking and fork. So queen d8.
Check.
And taking on f7. And yeah. The rook took. Yeah, and queen b3, and black resigned, I believe, here. Yeah, move 15. Why did black resign? Okay, simply the rook is going to be gone. Yeah, it's not an exchange, it's a whole rook. Let's say knight a5, bishop
Check.
takes, it doesn't really matter either way. Let's say here, then queen e6, and white will hold the piece. So that's pretty bad. Alright, so that's how white won this game. Let's move on to game 3.
Check.
Okay, game 3. Alright, so we have the Sicilian again, and the c3 Sicilian. So, alright, maybe not the most scary opening ever, but as you can see, it's still very possible to lose in 15 moves with the c3 Sicilian, for both sides actually. Alright, so we have d5 striking the center, taking. Alright, so we have this fairly normal position. Very, very normal. White getting his pieces out. Black enjoying playing against the isolated pawn on d4. Fairly normal c3 Sicilian. Alright, g4 is a bit aggressive. Okay, and knight e5. Black took. And recapture.
Check.
We had the trade. And here, I think, yeah, knight d7 is pretty much forced and needed. Obviously, black did not play this. It's already very, yeah. It already doesn't look very good with this check coming. But yeah, let me show you what black played, which is knight e4, and this is just losing completely on the spot due to
Check.
bishop b5 check, and black resigned. Alright, so why did black resign? After king e7, there are many winning lines. For example, the simplest just being knight takes here, with the idea of going bishop c5. So if takes
Checkmate.
is not very pretty. King e7. So in essence, knight takes e4 would win a piece because of black not being able to recapture. Also, you could try rook
Check.
d7 back, and you have various discoveries. You know, I personally like rook d4, which is just winning a piece even more directly. I think knight takes e4 is the simplest. But of course, yeah, it's just very ugly to face. And after bishop e5, black didn't want to face any of that, so he resigned here on move 15. Alright, very nice. So, let's continue on to game 4.
Check.
Okay, so you saw the game, sorry. I was looking at my notes, forgot to hit back. Alright, let's quickly look at this. So d4 for a change. And we have the Nimzo. And the queen c2 line. Okay, very popular. b6, e4. Alright. c5, d5, queen e7, and knight ge2. Okay, knight e2, because his knight is pinned, but yeah, I like saying knight ge2, e2. Black took, white took, and castles. Bishop g5, and bishop a6. Okay. Tickling the c-pawn a bit. Alright. White castled long, and black just took the pawn on c4. Alright. Knight g3. Very nice move. Ideas of all sorts of knight places. All look rather appealing. Okay. So, black took on f1 and the very nice knight f5. Alright, queen d8. And knight e4. And surprisingly, black is already in huge trouble. Yeah, very, very big trouble because, yeah, for example, let me check my notes. Let's just say, for example, bishop a6, knight takes g7 is absolutely crushing. Yeah, so, okay, let's see how black handled it. He took on g2.
Check.
White took on a, f6. recapture, and bishop h6. Now, why did black resign? Because of simple threats like rook g1, which is completely crushing, or queen e2 to g4 will be very good. It's important to note that if king h8, white always
Check.
has bishop g7, luring the king back, making sure that there's no rook g8 to play a little defense. So it's yeah, completely crushing. So yeah, based on various threats, yeah, black resigned here on move 15. All right, let's continue on. Game 5.
Check. Check.
Okay. All right, so we have the Alekhine if you're in Europe. Okay, c4, knight b6, and c5. Okay. I used to play the Alekhine quite a bit. I've forgotten a lot of the theory here, but I remember that c5 wasn't really so scary. I mean, it's completely playable, of course, but I never mind playing against it, because I always felt like it's giving black what he wants, and that's targets, but okay, that's my opinion. Alright, so we have this stuff. Queen g4, very annoying. I rather like this for white, actually. Putting pressure on the g7 pawn. d4, knight here, okay. Maybe threatening a fork. Bishop g5. And knight e7. Castled long, and d6. So yeah, this is already pretty ugly for black. Very cramped, hard to move pieces. d6 is trying to break at the center, but after a3, knight d5, and knight e4, it's just very, very ugly. This rook is just completely x-raying the queen right here, and making it even more tied up than it needs to be. For example, like if black took on c5 or e5, the d file would be extremely critical. Anyway, queen d7 played, and then took on here.
Check.
Black gave the check, and king b1, and black took here, and now white to play and win. Simple as that. So if you know your tactics, always look for forcing moves. Alright, the move is bishop b5, very nice, pinning the queen. So if black does nothing, white will just take it.
Check.
So black gave the check. Let me quickly point out, if queen takes here,
Check.
knight takes d6 is a fork, and white will win the queen. So black
Check.
tried knight c3 check, but after knight takes here, now white is directly defending the bishop, and he will win the queen. So here on move 15, black did resign. Okay, obviously not the strongest player in the world at the, this black player, but yeah, I felt like the tactics were worth sharing. Okay, so let me go to game 6.
Check. 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 Check.
Okay. Well, let me flip the pages in my notes. Alright, game 6. So, let me get settled here. Alright, so, c4, we have the English. And the English turned into the semi-Slav. Alright, transpositional openings. Quite common with c4.
Check.
Okay. And we have this line, very interesting opening.
Check.
I won't go into it, but very interesting. And bishop e2. Alright. And bishop f8 after the knight attacked the bishop. And this move is one of the main reasons I wanted to show this game. It is just such a, I don't know, it's a very, very nice move. Of course, if the king takes it,
Checkmate.
queen takes, or not takes, queen d8 mate is less to be desired. And okay, if the black king can't take, then white's just threatening to take on g7 with material. So, yeah. Yeah. Also, it is important to note, let me show you what black played. He played knight e7. But quickly, I wanted to take a look at, let's say he took on g2. Then queen d6. Yeah. Yeah, queen d6 with long castles is very, very strong. So yeah, black shouldn't take on g2 there. So yeah, Black got a piece out, which makes sense. Alright, but allowed taking on g7. He took on g2, bishop f6, and takes on h1. Okay, so very greedy, of course. Alright, and queen d6. Alright, the threat is very simple, just to take and mate. So, and if queen
Check.
takes here, then king d2, threatening the queen and threatening mate, so black would lose material. At the very least, it's probably even leading to mate, to be honest. Okay, so queen d6. How did black respond? He castled.
Check.
Queen g3. Knight block. And bishop f3. And black resigned after.
Check.
Queen takes g1, because he realized the queen was trapped. So he had no place to move the queen. So he gave
Check.
up the queen here. Takes. And here black resigned. You might think to yourself, yeah, black has, some material for the queen, but, white is just completely winning. That's, sorry for breathing into the mic. Yeah, queen g5 to h6, g7, no way to stop it. Yeah, it's game. So black resigned. Alright, let's continue on quickly. So what game are we on? Game 7? Let me quickly jump to that.
Check. Checkmate.
Alright, so you know the game ends in mate now. Alright, so let's continue on. e4, and we have the Sicilian, another c3 Sicilian. The Alpin, if you want to get technical. Alright, so we have simple developing moves. d6, it all looks fairly normal. Knight b5, and queen d8. I think already it's very critical for black. I think queen b8 is already forced and probably completely needed. Because, as we will see, the queen on d8, as in the game, sort of locks the king in. And that might not be so apparent at the moment, but as you'll see, the king gets a little, yeah, a little tight. Alright, so bishop f4, very logical, threatening knight c7. That is, yeah, pretty big threat. So black played e5, blocking the diagonal, takes, and queen e7. Okay, pinning.
Check.
That allowed this nice shot. And the king moved. So, it is obviously very ugly for black. And, yeah, how should white continue? Alright. He took on d4, which makes good sense, of course. And knight takes e5. Perhaps bishop d7 was better, trying to block the various discovered checks, but it's very ugly in that case as well. Yeah, let's say bishop here anyway. Then knight, bishop g5 is actually pretty winning. Because if queen takes g5,
Check.
knight e6 wins the queen. Remember that this bishop is pinned. So yeah. But, yeah, maybe that was even better than what happened. Alright, so knight takes here,
Checkmate.
allowing mate. Alright, I know that's anticlimactic, but let's just show that. What else? If black didn't take there. Yeah. It's just very ugly. I don't know. What's a good response? Let's say knight d7, of course. That's another possible idea. It's met
Check.
by knight e6, winning the queen. Yeah. And then king c7 can be met by knight b5 or
Check.
knight here. King b8 runs into
Checkmate.
mate. Very nice. So yeah, there's so many mating patterns here. It's incredible. But after here,
Checkmate.
black missed knight e6, double checkmate, game over. All right. So on move 15, that was mate. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to game 8. Okay. Obviously, there's some yeah, some known names here. Very well-known players, Aronian and Karpov. Apparently, this was played in the 2009 Blitz Championship. All right, so let's see how this went down. This the English, G3. Queen c2. Alright, so keep in mind this is a blitz game, so anything can happen in blitz. d1, c5, and d4. Okay. Knight b4. This all looks fairly normal. And then bishop g5. Very aggressive. After taking and taking, alright, there's a very simple threat. Okay. Yeah, you gotta look at the whole board for those cheapos. It's sort of what you would see in a bullet game. Alright, g6. Knight e4 and king g7. But that ran into knight d6. Forking. Okay, not there. Here, get rid of that. Forking these pieces. Note that the bishop also covers here, so it'll be bishop takes on the rook after that. So yeah, I think yeah, that was just a missed move. But I wanted to show the game just because of the high-profile nature of the players. It's good to know that everybody can miss forks. Alright, so we are on, what, game 9 now? Game 9. Boom.
Check.
Okay. So, let's get ahead. So we have the Caro-Kann, an opening I'm learning at the moment, actually. Secretly. Secretly learning the Caro in my spare time. G4. Okay. So all very normal. Black going after the center. White trying to press with a space advantage. So yeah. Knight takes here. And knight b5. Knight c6 takes.
Check.
Alright, so black blocked the check with a knight. Alright. c4, which looks normal. Okay. However, that runs into a very nice tactic that black has at his disposal. Now I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Take a look if you can find anything special that black has. Alright, so the move is
Check.
Queen a5 check. Now why is this move so powerful? After bishop d2, black has queen takes b5. And now there's no pin, so the knight can take here. And yeah, white resigned, I believe. Yeah. Because takes. Yeah. Very nice. So, very nice tactics. Okay, so on move 15, white resigned. Hopefully my voice doesn't completely give out. Alright, game 10.
Check.
Okay. So, this is a bit more detailed game. Alright, so e4. And we have the Philidor. Everybody loves the Philidor, right? Who doesn't like the Philidor? So we have opposite sides castling. e5, alright. Takes, and queen h4. Very aggressive play, discovering a discovered attack on the queen. Knight d7, bishop d3. Alright, very aggressive play. g6, and putting both rooks on the central files. Rook e8. Taking, and knight here. Alright, this allowed. Knight takes f7. Very nice tactical shot here. So, let's take a look at this. So, let's say, let me show you what black played. He took on g5. Let's say the king took. What happens? Then, bishop c4. Alright. King f8. Rook takes e7. Rook takes e7. Yeah, knight d5 looks absolutely crushing. Alright, various pressure on this poor rook. And it's going to be very ugly. Alright, so that's one line. So, black obviously has this alternative, which he played. Takes. We had a trade of rooks.
Check.
And bishop c4, and black resigned. Possibly better was queen c4. Yeah, just, yeah, that's slightly more forcing. Maybe a bit more direct is a better way of putting it. So let's say, alright, if king h8, knight
Check.
here looks pretty good. Okay, if king here, that's mate. And if king g7,
Check.
queen here, is absolutely brutal. Yeah. And that actually leads to mate. Alright, so, okay, maybe queen c4 was a slightly better move.
Check.
But bishop c4 also wins, and there's nothing wrong with it. Let's take a look at all the options. King g7. Yeah. King g7.
Check.
Knight e6. And then white will win the queen next move. What else? So, king f8 runs into
Check.
knight here, winning the queen. Yeah. Yeah, it's very ugly. Alright, so, anyways, facing all these various threats, white also has just taking next move if he wants to be simplistic about it. Black did resign on move 15. Alright, so let me turn the pages in my notes. Alright, let's move on. Game 11.
Check.
Okay, so, alright. So we have d4, and we have the Slav, etc., etc. Alright, so very, very normal Slav. And taking on d5. Alright. And now here black
Check.
gets really greedy and takes on c3. Rook b1. Alright, you can probably get away with this, but it is very risky. Notice how white has a very nice center. He has more pieces out, you know, and can castle in a couple moves. But okay, black does have a pawn. Alright, sort of a poison pawn maybe, in a way. Alright, a5. Okay. And, okay, probably here, maybe black should take his opportunity to get the queen back. Yeah? To one of these squares, maybe. Just to play it safely. Maybe even bishop e7 with queen d6. But what black played here was c5. And it's just a very ugly move. Because now the queen doesn't have a whole lot of squares. It can't retreat. It's blocking its retreat. I was trying to put like a Twitter retweet. But yeah, black can't retreat his queen because of the pawn blocking it now. And this can be taken advantage of with rook here, here, and bishop c4. And why resign? Because black did resign here. Because of rook a2. And, yeah, there's no way to meet that. Trapping the queen. Yeah, you can look at this a bit if you want. But yeah, it's completely over. So very nice, actually. I kind of like seeing pawn grabbing get punished. You know, it's always nice. Okay, let's continue on. Alright, game 12, I believe? Game 12. Alright, so let's continue on. So we have the Tarish in the French. Bishop e7, it's very popular. Alright, so it's all fairly normal. The bishop dropped back in h6. c3.
Friend departed.
Oh, I lost a friend. Queen c7. And knight e5. Alright, it all looks fairly normal. Knight d7. Maybe black should castle. Maybe, you know, maybe it's a... Yeah. But okay. No harm, no foul. And now it's critical. It's very, very critical. Queen g4. And black needs to start thinking of castling or starting to defend. Maybe knight f6 with rook g8. It looks very ugly, but I think black needs to start getting really down to, you know, down to earth and needs to start defending hard. You know, you not need to, like in boxing, you gotta get your hands up. you know, because there's a lot of sacking ideas already in the air. And what black did is he played g5, and this is just screaming for a sacrifice. And very nice is knight takes f7. And black actually resigned. Now let's take a couple look at the lines here. Let's say black, okay, black resigned here, but let's just take a look. King takes here,
Check.
queen takes on e6, king f8.
Check.
I'm just going to
Check.
show the line. Yeah.
Checkmate.
That's one. Sorry for breathing into the mic. Okay. So, that's obviously not very pretty. What else is there? You can try bishop takes.
Check.
But this goes into a very similar line.
Check.
Believe here, right?
Check.
Yeah. Takes, and
Check.
this actually ends up leading to mate. So, yeah.
Check.
Yeah, very nice.
Checkmate.
So yeah, very nice line there. Alright, so yeah, it's a very nice. What else? Is there anything else that can be tried? You could try g takes f4 here, but that runs
Check.
into...
Check.
Yeah,
Check.
very, very nice stuff here. Very nice lines. I like it.
Check.
You can take a look at all the ideas.
Check. Checkmate.
So that's one line. Very nice. So yeah, okay. Those are the three main options, and if anything else, yeah, there's just so many threats, you know, besides that. So, yeah, very nice play by white, punishing the French. Yeah, there's a reason you need to castle. This kind of illustrates that. Black had a couple times where he could just castle and avoid a lot of this, but he didn't, and yeah, this is what happened. Alright, so let's move on. Game 13, I believe. Game 13.
Check.
Alright, so you know how this ends, but let's take a look. Okay. Caro-Can, we have the exchange. So a very normal opening. I've actually looked at this recently. Not this particular line, though, for black. I play something else, but it's all fairly normal. What I like about this game is that white, just very simply and calmly, went all out, as to be as simple as you can about it. Yeah, he just pushed his g-pawn, he's putting his knight here, bishop here, the rook lift, etc. So, yeah, very aggressive play. And here black probably should play knight g6, trying to defend, trying to get pieces over to the king, and yeah, okay, the game goes on, so to say. However, that wasn't played, and b4 was played.
Friend arrived.
Yeah, I got a friend. So b4. Alright, obviously black is trying to launch some sort of minority attack. The problem with that is that he gets mated before any of that happens. Yeah. Okay. So g5, and this is just instantly punished
Check.
with bishop takes h7 and resigns. Yeah. So, yeah, we can take a look at some of the options here. Alright, well, it's very simple. Okay. If takes here, queen
Check.
h5 is just crushing. King h8. We can take a look at one sample line. Alright, knight to g8, planning this. But,
Check. Check.
and you could take your pick.
Checkmate.
And that's mate. Alright. So, yeah, very nice game. Yeah, punished the Caro-Can. Yeah, knight g6, he needed to defend the king. Maybe there were some opportunities in the opening where black could try to, yeah, quickly put more pressure in the center, like something with f6, or trying to get rid of that knight on e5, etc., etc., but, you know, black playing this slow queenside build-up with, you know, pushing the pawn. Yeah, just giving white everything he wanted, going for the king. Alright, so, 2 more games, I believe, as I flip my pages in my notes, so I can have some idea what I'm saying. Alright, so let's jump ahead. Game 14, I believe. Alright.
Check.
Okay. So we have the Nimzo Indian, E3, been played millions of times. '92. Okay. And you slowly start to notice black is building up a lot of
Check.
pressure on the queen side, or king side, excuse me. Yeah, definitely not the queen side. So, rook d1 allowed this very nice knight h3 shot. It's actually rather common in the yeah, these kinds of ideas when you leave this sort of pawn structure. Yeah, these knight h3, these kinds of sacrifices, and sometimes even putting a bishop on g3. It's all very yeah, you have to be noticeable of these ideas. But yeah, it's very nicely spotted by the black player. Instead of rook d1, probably g3 is needed. I mean, it's, yeah, I don't know. With a roughly level position, I would say, but, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. I don't like all these pieces near my king. But, yeah. Okay. But, okay, that wasn't played.
Check.
Rook d1, allowing knight h3. King here. We get to quickly take a look at if taking
Check.
check, and, alright, if king h1, queen f2 is pretty, crazy, with various threats. And if takes, check,
Check.
king f1,
Check.
takes,
Check.
is pretty crushing. Yeah. Yeah, very, very nasty stuff. Alright, anyway, so, obviously white doesn't want any of that. He played king h1. Here. And here, yeah, there's just so many threats, Yeah, it's very ugly. Maybe g3 is needed, but that hangs a piece, so that's not very pleasant. Yeah, and black is, yeah, black is just completely crushing here, threatening to take a piece. Yeah, still various threats here. Very nice, and, yeah. Okay, so white resigned here, not wanting to face the oncoming onslaught. Alright, so I believe that leaves one more game. Okay, let's do it. Come on. Game 15.
Check. Check.
Alright, so we have the Sicilian. Alright. So this is actually a pretty well-known game for me because it was actually featured. It was one of the first miniature games I saw recently. Not recently, yeah. I saw when I was first looking at miniatures and all that. And, yeah, this game stuck with me, sorta. And, alright, let's take a look. Knight c3, d5. Alright, and I could make an hour-long video of this, but let's just
Check.
get to the critical stuff. d7 check. Very nice. Alright, here.
Check.
Okay, takes, and king e2. So obviously it's very critical. Black grabbed the rook. And so maybe that wasn't the hottest idea ever. Maybe first inserting bishop e6, attacking the queen, and then maybe grabbing the rook is slightly better. I mean, yeah, it's so complicated, but maybe this was a better try. Because you're removing the queen from this very nice ideal square. Okay. So, but okay, as mentioned, black took the rook. Rook d1. And now bishop e6. Now there's a critical difference between this and the previous bishop e6. There's a rook now here. So this allows a very, very nice idea. Queen takes e6, and I'm so happy white spotted this because it's very nice. So, what did black play? He resigned. yeah, that was his move. He resigned. Now, why did he resign? Sorry for breathing into the mic, actually hitting the mic. So, why did he resign? Let's take a look. He takes the queen, knight g5, and it's much more than just a fork threat. It's actually threatening knight here, mate. This is a mate threat. Knight takes e6 is checkmate. So, yeah. Yeah. Black is completely dead. And long story short, black will probably have to give up his queen with like queen takes a2, trying to cover this. But of course, white can take the queen. Oops. Something like, etc. What a move. I mean, and it's just so hard to stop. How do you stop it? I mean, yeah. You could try king c7, but, oh, man. I wouldn't want to have to face this. It's just pretty ugly. But yeah, I'd like to say that this was a, yeah, topsy-turvy game, okay? Though, I could very well make an hour video on it, but I just want to show it here in this, 15-15-15 video. And yeah, I think it's a very nice idea. So, all these games, a player resigned on move 15. It is the 15th of January 2014, and this was 15 games. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep doing this semi-often, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. Good games to all. Links to players' names, rating, PGNs, etc. are in the description to ChessGames.com, so you can look at all that there. I'm going through the effort of putting the links in for each game, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And, yeah, see you guys around with future stuff, and, yeah. Alright, thanks again. See you guys around.